your computer or your desk, chairs, all of that needs to be, you know, rolled into this budget, overall budget. Are you going to need, you know, IT support? Are you going to need technical support? Are you going to need travel budgets? You know, are you going to need a travel budget? Are you going everything that you can see as part of your outcome. So you always have to reflect back onto your setup piece. You know, what was it that you had in your plan, in the setup phase? What did you have in your proposal? What did you have as your objectives? How are you going to get there? That's what we're on right now. We're on the planning part. How much is it going to cost? So all of these different stages are interconnected, and they're always going to have to be reflected back on throughout the entire project.
Okay.
Okay.
And these are just like, these are just estimates, right? Or
Absolutely.
do you have to get quotes and stuff? Okay.
You can totally get quotes, but your quotes is still going to be an estimate. You know, it's an estimate. And the other thing that that I want to bring forward is, I get into it in the next one. The risk register. Okay, so risk register. Basically, what a risk register is that it involves thinking about the future. What are the potential hazards that can happen? What are the bad things? Of course, you know, in Anishinaabe, they always have to think, you know, always have to think negative. And in this case, this is a good thing to think negative. What if something bad happens? What if, you know, we run out of money? What is our backup plan? What's our contingency? How are we going to continue on if we run out of money? Well, this is an example of the risk register, because you can take a look. For instance, okay, if we say, what if we run out of money? What are we going to do? We don't have any more funds. The project is basically, you know, could go down the drain, and all this work may have been for nothing. Well, the risk register, you take a look at that and say, okay, well, a backup plan or contingency would be to always over budget. And we always over budget. We always have to over budget, because we can use those slippages as our project's buffers for overspending. So we always, like that in itself is a way of using the risk register. It's addressing those hazards. Well, this is how we're addressing those hazards. We are going to over budget.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So like risk register. What if one of our staff, you know, what if we have a shortage of staff? Like, how are we going to address that? Well, there's a number of hazards. There's a number of things that could go wrong in projects. And this risk register is basically your way of making a backup plan in these cases. And funders really like to see that, because they like to see that you're thinking about recouping in order to make the project carry out. And it shows that we're being thorough in developing the plan. We have all of our bases covered. The last piece in this planning part is the communications plan. Developing a communications plan that breaks down who needs to be informed about what and when and how do they need to be informed. So your communications plan is basically, how are you getting all the information out to your community? How is it going to be done? What are you going to be using? Are you going to be using radio? Are you going to be using, you know, door-to-door flyers? Are you going to have, you know, an info session where all the community gathers, you know, about this project? How is it going to be communicated to everybody? Because your project is not going to, you know, our projects don't run well if our communities aren't informed about what's happening.
True that.
Right? Okay, next. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I was like, I clicked the wrong button. It's the same slide. Okay, there we go. So now it's getting into the nitty-gritty of the delivering it. Okay, so So once all the aspects of the planning stage, once all those pieces are complete, the next stage, of course, is to implement your project. So the delivery stage involves the project team, of course, working together to achieve the common goal or objective that was set out in the project plan. Again, the project plan is back to your setup stage, your bare bones stage, and again back to your planning stage. So you're always going to want to keep reviewing what you've done so far. Once everything is out, it's a good thing to always have, I would say, have it visual, have it handy, have your plan always handy so that you can take a look back and review and to make sure that you're all on the right path. And that things don't spin, that way things don't spin out of control, because once things spin out of control, it's so easy to overspend. Okay. Okay, so so where I was the team is working together to achieve the common goal or the objectives that are set out in the project plan, which will include these pieces, these 6 pieces here. Undertaking the activities set out in the plan. That's your moving forward. Where do we go from here? We have our plan. Everything is set up. We need to move forward. Okay? And you do that by following your project plan. What was the plan? The next one is meeting timelines. So you're moving forward in accordance with timelines and meeting your deadlines. So you always, again, want to review and revisit that project plan and have those deadlines and timelines in place. So you're always looking back and saying, okay, did we do this objective and this objective by April? Check, check. Yes, we have. Did we do this objective and this objective by, September? Check, check. You always want to keep moving forward while reviewing your timelines and your deadlines so that your project is still running smoothly. And the other thing I'm going to add is you always want to make sure that with those objectives, within those timelines, you keep looking at your budget. Always keep looking at your budget. So your next one is in the delivery. And these pieces, these components, all these 6 components under the delivery are all happening simultaneously. So this is where, this is where your skills as a multitasker, come in handy as a project manager and a project coordinator. Because you have to maintain and keep an eye on all of these 6 main different components of the delivery aspect. Sure, you were really instrumental in the setup process, in the planning process, but now, in the delivery of projects, this is where you're in action and you are guiding and assisting your team. Your project team. Your whole project team is going to be carrying out these 6 pieces, and you're going to be overseeing it as a project coordinator. So you ultimately have to keep your eye on all of these 6 pieces moving at the same time together.
Okay.
And don't get overwhelmed.
Jennifer, these could be 2 different people though, right? The planning stage people can be like, that could be like the administrator or something like that, and then they could do the delivery, somebody else could do the delivery, right? Or?
Well, you could, but at the same time, you want to make sure that the delivery, this is the delivery of the entire project. You want to make sure that they know what they're doing, that they are aware and they have been an integral part of the setup, that they've been there for the setup, they've been there for, the planning of the proposal, or the project. You know, they've been there for all of those pieces. This is where you're going to have your strong people. They're going to have stronger people in the delivery. The ones that have been there from the get-go, from day one, those are the people you want to have in your delivery piece, implementing the project. So yeah, they can be, you know, they can be a little piece of the setup. They can be aware, you know, at least have a strong awareness of the setup, why it's been put in place in the planning phase as well. Okay?
Yeah. They'll know.
You just have to have a strong grasp.
Okay.
And I'm logged in on Jennifer's computer. I should have said that at the beginning. It's Dawn Desmolin, actually. That's,
okay. Thanks, Dawn. Clearing that up for me.
I guess, yeah, it would make sense considering I'm, you know, talking from, you know, perspective of First Nations person in our communities, and maybe, you know, makes more sense now.
We're like, yeah. That makes a lot more sense.
I'm sorry, I'm turning red. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Yes, it's Dawn Desmolin from Long Lake.
That's okay.
From Fort Rivers, but from Long Lake, and from Constance Lake, and yeah. Okay, so.
That's funny.
Jeez. Okay. Okay, where are we here? Timelines. Oh, managing the risks. Yes. Okay, so again, managing the risks identified and addressing them. So basically, kind of what we discussed in the planning phase is having that risk register. You know, if any of those risks come up, we have to manage those risks. And it won't be that difficult to manage because we already have it set up in our plan. You know, if this happens, we're going to do this. If, you know, so-and-so, you know, has to leave or has to go on, you know, a sick leave or whatever it is, you know, we have measures in place to manage that.
Is there anything that, like, Dawn, is there anything that you can think of that might be able to foresee some of these risks, like some of them that, from other proposals and other projects, you know what I mean, that you can look at to see?
Yeah, okay. I'll say a big one right now. A big one was, okay, for instance, before I came to Four Rivers, I was at KCATS. And I had worked on, the RAFADA proposal. And that was, you know, the agreement with Noront, Four Rivers, and the college. And it was, you know, being able to deliver all of the training for preparation of the Ring of Fire, right? So one of the big things, one of the big pluses or bonuses of that proposal was for employment. Wow, we're going to be employed through Noront after, and we're going to, you know, help in moving the Ring of Fire, moving forward. Well, as you know, training happened. Partnerships were developed with the college and the industry. However, we're still yet to get any employment from Noront. So that's an issue. And that was something that was on our risk register when we